Elon Musk and Tucker Carlson are raising serious concerns, accusing the Trump administration of possibly withholding explosive information about Jeffrey Epstein. What are they warning about, and why now? This could have massive political consequences. You're watching Global Mind News.
Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're digging into Jeffrey Epstein again, specifically the controversy that just won't go away surrounding the so-called Epstein list.
Yeah, it's a topic that keeps generating headlines. And you, our listeners, have shared some really interesting sources looking at the latest twists and turns.
Absolutely. So our mission today is to try and cut through some of that noise. We'll look at what the Justice Department is saying now, how people like Elon Musk and figures in the Trump administration are reacting.
And what the experts, the journalists who've been on this for years, think is really going on.
Exactly. We want to help you grasp the core bits of information, the complexities, and maybe the bigger picture behind why these details are or aren't coming out. So let's get into it.
Okay, so the starting point has to be this recent, pretty dramatic shift from the Justice Department. They put out a memo.
Right. And it essentially says, look, Epstein didn't blackmail high-profile clients, he wasn't murdered, and there was no client list. Full stop.
Which is, well, fascinating because, as our sources point out, some of the very same people in the administration saying this now were the ones kind of stirring the pot about this list before, during the campaign and while previously in office.
It's a huge contradiction. It really makes you wonder what prompted this sudden reversal, right?
Definitely. It feels like an attempt to manage the narrative, maybe shut it down, but it raises big questions about transparency, doesn't it?
For sure. And this memo, Axios got it first, it paints a really different picture than maybe what people were expecting.
And then you have President Trump's reaction when he was asked about it.
Yeah, the New York Post reporter asked him, and he seemed genuinely indignant. Like, are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years.
He went on, right, mentioning Texas, other issues.
Yeah, we have all of the... And are people still talking about this creep? That is unbelievable.
But the irony, as the source highlights, is that people high up in his own administration have been talking about it loudly for years.
Precisely. Which just adds another layer of complexity here.
And this sudden shift, this memo, it definitely caught people's attention online. Elon Musk, for instance, jumped in.
He has a history with this topic, doesn't he?
He does. He'd previously posted something, then deleted it, claiming Trump was in the Epstein files, and that's why they weren't public.
Right, I remember that. He took it down pretty quickly. The source said it was after his sort of alliance with Trump seemed to dissolve.
Exactly. But now, responding to this new DOJ memo, he posts this meme.
Ah, the clown makeup meme. Yeah.
Right. The guy putting on more and more clown makeup with the text like, "We will release the Epstein list. We just need more time." Then
the Epstein list is on my desk.
And finally, there is no Epstein list. Boom. Full clown.
And that desk line, that's a direct callback, isn't it?
It is. It refers back to that clip of Pam Bondi from February.
Oh, okay. Let's talk about that. That February Fox clip. What did she say exactly?
She said, the DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients. Well, that really happened. It's sitting on my desk right now to review. That's been a directive by President Trump. Pretty definitive sounding.
Very, but then she walked it back almost immediately, right?
Yeah, she clarified later, saying something like, "I was asked about the client list, and my response was it's sitting on my desk to be reviewed," meaning the file along with the MLK files as well.
So the whole file, not just a list of clients. A pretty significant clarification.
It is. And what's so striking, despite this current no-list stance from the DOJ, is how many people close to Trump were pushing for its release before.
Like J.D. Vance.
Exactly. When he was the VP nominee back in October 2024, he said, seriously, we need to release the Epstein list. That is an important thing. Pretty clear call.
And he wasn't alone. What about Kash Patel?
Yeah, Patel, even before he became FBI director, was on a podcast asking, why is the FBI protecting the grand pederast? Simply because of who's on that. Talking about Epstein.
And Dan Bongino, too, right? Former Secret Service, now FBI deputy director.
Him, too. On his show back in February, just before his appointment, he was adamant. I'm not ever going to let this stuff go because of what I heard from a source about Bill Clinton on a plane with Jeffrey Epstein. I'm not letting it go ever, ever.
Okay, but we need to add the important caveat here.
Absolutely crucial. Bill Clinton's spokesperson put out a statement saying he knows nothing about the terrible crimes.
And just because someone's name might appear in files doesn't automatically mean involvement in anything illegal, right?
Right.
Especially sex trafficking.
Exactly. That's a really important distinction the sources make. Presence doesn't equal guilt.
Okay. So Vance, Patel, Bongino, any others?
Oh, yeah. Elena Harbor, now interim attorney for New Jersey. Back in February, she sounded baffled it wasn't out yet. She said, we have flight logs, we have information, names that will come out. I'm shocked that none of that's been released.
And Trump's own son got involved, didn't he?
He did. After Pam Bondi teased the files were coming, he posted LFG, let's effing go. Clearly excited about it.
And Trump himself, what did he say during the campaign when asked directly?
He was asked, would you declassify the Epstein files? And his response was kind of hedging, Yeah. Yeah. Oh, all right. I guess I would.
Not exactly a full-throated commitment.
No. And he immediately added a caveat about phony stuff potentially being in there and not wanting to affect innocent people's lives. So some caution even then.
Okay, so you have all this buildup, all these calls for release. Then the administration actually does something. They invite influencers to the White House.
Right. A week after Bondi's initial on my desk comment, they brought in conservative and MAGA influencers for a first look at the Epstein files, Phase 1.
Phase 1 sounds promising, but what was actually in them?
Well, according to the sources, not much new. It was apparently quite disappointing.
No smoking gun?
None reported. The vast majority, they said, was stuff already publicly available.
Huh. And wasn't there that report about Bondi directing FBI agents?
Yeah, CNN's Evan Perez reported back in March that Bondi told some FBI agents to pause their work on, like China and Iran.
To focus on redacting the Epstein files before this Phase 1 release.
Exactly. Which kind of makes you wonder about the priorities behind that specific release. Redaction over investigation.
So if that release was a dud, what do the experts, like Julie Brown, say is still being hidden?
Well, Julie Brown, who's done incredible work on this for the Miami Herald, suggests this whole idea of an easy-to-find client list might be a bit of a red herring.
A distraction. Something the administration can use to say, see, nothing there.
Potentially. She argues that while there probably isn't a neat little list like that, there are definitely files, a huge amount of information the administration has access to.
That they haven't shared.
Right. Information she believes could well point to the powerful folks who availed themselves of the sex trafficking victims of Jeffrey Epstein.
And where is this information? You mentioned the FBI vault.
Yeah, if you go online to the FBI vault, there are apparently 22 files, thousands of pages.
Yeah.
But
heavily redacted.
Very heavily redacted. So we don't really know what's blacked out.
And Brown raises other points too, right? About what else hasn't been released.
She does. Critical questions. Like, okay, redact victim names, obviously, but why not release the victim testimonies themselves with protections?
That's a fair question. What else?
She points out Epstein apparently had video cameras in most of his homes. Where that footage? And Epstein's autopsy report, or the full investigation into his death that hasn't been made public either.
So the administration might be saying case closed, but there's clearly a lot of material potentially still under wraps.
Yeah, it really suggests a strategic handling of information. The question is why? Who benefits from keeping this stuff hidden?
Which throws us right into the political storm surrounding all this. Tucker Carlson had a strong reaction early on, didn't he, to Bondi's initial comments?
Oh, yeah. When Bondi hinted there might be a videotape of kids getting abused, Carlson reacted quite dramatically. He said it was one of the craziest things I've ever seen and very dangerous to play around with this stuff.
He even said, if you wanted a revolution, this is how you would act. Pretty strong language.
Extremely strong. And as one source points out, Carlson talking about revolution is itself potentially dangerous, given the context of January 6th and Medjie supporters.
So it loops back to that central question. Who is covering for whom here? Is Trump protecting Bondi after her walk back, or is Bondi covering for Trump by managing this whole thing?
It's hard to say definitively. What we do see is Trump's pattern when asked about Epstein or even UFOs or JFK files.
He gets defensive, attacks the reporter.
Yeah, dissembles, attacks, brings up concerns about innocent people getting hurt by releasing phony stuff. It's consistent.
But what's really interesting is how the base reacts. You mentioned Patel and Bongino got pushback.
They did. When they recently tried to sort of downplay the Epstein files, maybe align with the new DOJ stance, they apparently got hammered by the Manchia base online.
So parts of the base really want this stuff out, regardless of what the leadership is saying now.
Seems that way. And then you have activists like Laura Loomer, who our sources say has Trump's ear on some big issues.
What's she saying?
She's apparently going after Pam Bondi hard on social media, calling her a dumb, lying bimbo, urging Trump to fire her, calling her a disgrace.
Wow. So even if Trump seems to be protecting Bondi publicly,
there are influential voices within his own movement actively working against her on this issue. It raises questions about his control. He might go after politicians who cross him, but these influencers, maybe not so much. Can he silence them?
It's a fascinating power dynamic. So wrapping this up, where does it leave us? Is there really no there, as the DOJ now insists?
Or is the real question still, who is covering up for whom? It's murky. Trump himself seems politically Teflon on this stuff, right? The Epstein questions, Musk turning on him, UFOs, things that might sink another politician.
He seems to weather it, but the people around him.
Exactly. The fallout often lands on them. And that puts someone like Pam Bondi in a really tough spot. Does this damage her ability to function as Attorney General? Could it even cost her the job down the line?
It's a precarious position.
So for you, the listener, thinking about all this, what's the takeaway? We've got official statements saying one thing, a history of powerful figures saying another, and experts pointing to a trove of hidden information.
It leaves us with a lingering question, doesn't it? What does this ongoing secrecy, this political maneuvering around the Epstein case, actually tell us about accountability at the very highest levels? And how much does public pressure, your pressure, actually influence what we ultimately find out? Something to think about.
Thanks for watching Global Mind News. If you found this report helpful, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. We bring you the facts, insights, and updates that matter, straight from the source. See you in the next report.